On Friday, October 11th, there was an ecumenical prayer vigil held at the site of both Nero's circus and the location where Peter is said to have been martyred. There were several Bible verses they cited during the vigil. One of them is in Isaiah 25. He will swallow up on this mountain the covering that is cast over all people, the veil that is spread over all nations. Another portion of scripture read was Psalm 122. I was glad when they said to me, "Let us go to the house of the Lord." Our feet have been standing within your gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem built as a city that is bound firmly together, to which the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, as was decreed for Israel. To give thanks to the name of the Lord, their thrones for judgment were set, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they be secure who love you. Peace be within your walls, and security within your towers. For my brothers' and companions' sake, I will say, peace be within you. For the sake of the house of the Lord our God, I will seek your good. The portion of scripture focused on mostly was found in John chapter 17, where it talks about the glory which you've given me, I've given to them, that they may be one, even as we are one. As a matter of fact, there were different languages that this portion of scripture was prayed as an intercessory prayer. The Vatican News website covered this. In this portion, under a call to overcome division, they said something I found interesting. Let's look at that. Their quote was, "The world needs our common witness, and we are called to be faithful to our common mission as missionary disciples of Christ." Reflecting on the example of St. Francis of Assisi, who received his mission before an image of the crucified Christ, Pope Francis prayed that the cross of Christ would guide Christians in their daily journey toward full unity and harmony with one another and with all creation. The definition of the word image is a representation of the external form of a person or thing in art. Revelation chapter 14 speaks of the image. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, "If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark on his forehead or his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God." Looking at the official statement published by the Vatican, it's entitled Homily of the Holy Father Francis. If you aren't aware, Pope Francis chose the name Francis after St. Francis of Assisi. Looking directly at what Pope Francis said, he said, "Dear brothers and sisters, it was before an image of the crucified Christ that St. Francis of Assisi received the call to restore the church. May the cross of Christ also guide us on our daily journey towards full unity in harmony with one another and with all creation." He then quotes Colossians 1, verses 19 through 20. "For in him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell, and through him to reconcile to himself all things, whether on earth or in heaven, making peace by the blood of his cross." The Pope said it was before an image of the crucified Christ that St. Francis of Assisi received the call to restore the church. What he's speaking of specifically is called the Stigmata of St. Francis of Assisi. You can see this depiction showing an image of the crucified Christ putting marks on St. Francis of Assisi. That was what's called the Stigmata.
Where he received the gift of the stigmata. Stigmata are mystical phenomena where holy men and women receive some or all of the wounds of Christ crucified. They are believed to be a sign of closeness to God through sharing in the suffering of Jesus. According to tradition, St. Francis was the first to receive these mystical marks on his hands, feet, and side.
There may be a part 2 to this as I look more into the Stigmata of St. Francis. It was mentioned in a previous video, which I'll link below.